This one goes out to the podcast. Nerd culture, oh baby.
Nerd culture, lurking like a vulture. Pterodactyl in the sky, by the haunch ya. We get it down when we talk about the movies. Scooby-Dooby, with our comical duties. And yeah, we hit it on all those TV shows with hosts by...
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's time to get geeky with Electric City Nerds Talk Radio with your hosts, Bo, Matt, and Scott.
So here we are, Scott. Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome, friends. Tonight's episode is going to be a little bit different. The reason why is because Bo can't be with us. He is sick, and he's left.
Suffering.
He's left the show in our hands. So I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully it's going to be fun.
I think it'll be crazy.
Yep.
Crazy
So minus Bo, you have me and the fantastic
Scott himself once more.
Yes, he's here.
The
in the
guest
flesh.
that never left.
Yes, sir.
Yep,
So
yep. It was funny. Bo sent me a text earlier in the week. No, actually, he posted it in our secret group.
Oh yeah.
About the promo for the first episode I was going to be on.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, and it got me thinking. I was like, damn, it's because I did the math on the
How
seasons
long ago
and
it's
the
been?
years, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I never really thought that I kind of just was like that neighbor on the sitcoms that just always slides in.
Yeah.
And I just slid in one day and just never slid back
You pulled
out.
a Kramer for sure.
It became
Yeah.
like a Kramer-esque character.
Just
People were
busted
like,
in.
give us a couple more Kramer episodes.
Made a bowl of cereal.
Just took my shoes off too.
Watched the cable television.
So, yeah, it was a while ago. We did our top 10 horror movies. God, that was like season 3, I think. We're on 13 now.
Yeah.
About to hit 14.
It's a little surreal sometimes
It
when
is.
we realize how long we've been doing the show.
It's a lot. It's still. I think it's more fun now than it even was back then.
And we're
honestly.
still broke. What's up with that?
We're still broke,
gotta
but I
change
mean,
that.
hey, I've learned how to manage money better than I was then. So,
True enough. So,
Yes.
Scott, what is the star date?
Today's start at 92517.1.
Heck yeah.
Today in Star Trek history.
Yeah. What do we have going on there?
That's my music there that I just came up with.
I like it.
Honestly, today in Star Trek history was a lot of stuff I was a little confused on. So I dug around a little bit and just remembered that yesterday they actually announced that they've come out with the communicator from the original series, but it's a Bluetooth headset.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds exciting.
It's a little communicator that flips open and be like, beam me up, and they'd beam them up, and it's got you know it if you saw it. It flips up, and but it's Bluetooth compatible, so you can actually keep your phone in your pocket when your phone rings.
Well, that sounds cool.
Yeah, the communicator will chirp and do the communicator sounds, and you'll flip it open and be able to. It's like a little speaker phone, and it's exactly like the one from the show, which I thought was amazing, and it's probably going to be like $800, but
Jeez.
I'll find some way to sell a bunch of crap and get it. But
Hell yeah. Have to go digging through the comic boxes.
I'll dig through and sell some more of that Walking Dead again, whatever you did.
Hell yeah.
And also today was the 6th day of filming The Naked Time.
Ooh, I like nakedness.
Yes, the
So-
original series. I want to say that was season 1. That was when Sulu went berserk. It's actually famous now, the shot of Sulu running around with his shirt off, fencing with everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's Sulu. Yeah, and he's which is hilarious to his personality now with him being the internet, George Takei being all over the place and everything. And the episode just being called The Naked Time as well.
Right.
It was pretty funny with Sulu running around half naked the whole time.
Hell yeah.
That's about, we had a bunch of births, a bunch of fun stuff today.
Star Trek births?
Star Trek births, actors, writers' births.
We'll give them to us.
Michael Barrier, Connie Fallis, Jake Hadaway, Catherine Moffat was born
Who are these people?
today in 1958. A whole bunch of stuff was filmed and all that kinds of fun, but that's
Okay.
the Barge of the Dead.
Just Star
from
Trek
Voyager.
people. We'll just leave it at
Bunch
that.
of trekkers all over the place.
All right. So what else? What do we got?
I'll tell you, I've been, this isn't new, it's new to me, it's super old actually, it's like 98.
Okay.
There is we did an interview with Sean Keeney.
98. I was in like fucking third grade.
Yeah, it's fairly recent. But we did an interview with Sean Keeney last year when we went to
yeah, yeah.
MonsterCon.
I remember that.
And the episode that he was in was the Menagerie, where he played a disabled Captain Pike who had gotten in a plasma explosion and had his face torn up, and he couldn't basically do anything except for say yes or no in
Damn.
this chair that he rode around in because he was wrecked.
Yeah.
I have found out, and I'm really bad that I'm this far behind. I've been getting a lot of Star Trek books here and there. And there is a series called Strange New Worlds, which is honestly, it's on book 10. That's how long it's been going on.
Damn.
But they're all fan-submitted stories that are submitted to this editor.
Oh, I love stuff like that.
And when they win prizes, he puts them in the book in a certain order. They're from all the different years of Star Trek, too, so they go all the way apart. But
Yeah.
the first story in the first book, in the first volume, the first winner, is crazy because it is actually the events leading up to the episode of the Menagerie, and it's all told from Captain Pike's standpoint while he's sitting in the chair thinking,
Right.
because he can't communicate.
That's freaking bizarre.
So it was insane. It was all the stuff that he's going through. Because in the episode, it's Spock had served with him on the Enterprise before Kirk was there, and Spock basically steals the Enterprise to go pick him up and take him to this thing that was called the cage that these aliens were running. It's like a virtual reality in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So Spock basically risks a court-martial to steal this guy and drop him off in there so he won't be stuck in the confines of his paralyzed body.
Wow.
So, yeah, that story was absolutely nuts that they would tell that from his standpoint and everything, too. And plus, having met Sean Keeney, it was cool because I could kind of put his face on all of it.
He was really fucking nice.
Yeah, he was an
Cool guy.
awesome cat, too. He was great, too. He talked to us for about 30 minutes before and after our interview, too.
He did.
So it was great.
He's like, we're just friends now.
We're just
Except
going to hang out.
Hell yeah. Well, tonight we have Bob Camp
This is
on the program.
pretty huge, man. Bob is
dude.
he's an awesome cat from everything I've heard from him online and around and being fans of TV and TV shows and comics.
Yeah,
a couple
if
of
you
comics,
If you haven't lived under a rock for like the past forever, then you should know his work. I mean, you ever heard of a little something called Ren and Stimpy?
A little something called Ren and Stimpy and some character designs for like the real Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah.
And we were on a Tiny Toons. We're talking like even Cow and Chicken for 90s kids and the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff. SpongeBob, storyboards and stuff like that. He's laying the.
He's a busy man.
I like to say he laid the bass lines for the songs that were these TV shows.
Yeah, he's done a ton of stuff. And without further ado, man, I'm gonna get him on the
We'll
horn
give him a
here.
call
Yeah,
and
let's get him on
yak
the
with
show.
him.
Let's get a little inside perspective on Bob Camp. Here we go. So I'm gonna give him a ring here. Oh, how's your week been, Scott? While
Pretty
I'm getting
good.
this going.
All right, it's been working out all well, except for the air conditioner in the apartment being busted again. But
Oh, and it's like 1,000 degrees.
it's like it's tomorrow. It's supposed to be 90 something. So if it's not fixed tonight, I'm getting out of Dodge. I'm gonna go sleep in the mall.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm gonna go hide in some broom closet somewhere in
You
the food
just-
court.
Sleep in the studio.
That would be. I could stretch out just across the floor. Here we go.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Bob.
Hey.
It's Matt from Electric City Nerds Radio.
It's Scott here as
Hey,
well.
are we on the air?
We
Yeah,
are.
We are going.
That's just sick.
Yes.
Well, how's it going? How's life? What's going on in your neck of the woods there?
I was just writing a few checks, paying a few bills,
I know how that is.
looking out the window, wishing I was outside. I like to go. I live at the Jersey Shore now,
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
and my girlfriend and I run down to the beach a lot of times to walk along the beach at night. It's nice.
Heck yeah! I'll tell you what. You mentioned your girlfriend, and I've been following you guys since I met you at
Ken,
XCon.
I knew it was Ken. He's the bastard that was following us, Michelle.
Yeah, literally,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
right
It
behind.
was Matthews following.
Yeah, I was creeping you
I knew
guys.
it was that. You were in like a brown Toyota, right?
Oh yeah, sneaking around. I think I had the windows blacked
And a
out.
fedora on and a
The
fake
windows
mustache.
blacked out. Yeah.
That was me. I'm glad you noticed me.
Matthew.
But what I'd like to say though is I really enjoy following you guys and the positivity that you guys share with everyone daily. You don't realize how much that could help someone that's having a rough time. And I really enjoy being able to see that. And I enjoy that you guys have such a loving and passionate relationship. It really does.
Oh, that's nice of you to say so, man. That's
Yeah,
great. Thanks a lot.
It's nice to read positive things on social media sometimes, other than just all the craziness that goes on all the
Yeah,
time.
there's a lot of madness and complaining and stuff all the time. So when you do see the good stuff, it does tend to. I don't want to be corny, but shine a little bit brighter. I don't know.
Yeah, well, once in a while I get get a little riled up, and I get on my high horse about stuff, and then a lot of times I'll say something or I'll post something, and people will start like a fist fight on my post.
Oh,
right,
yes.
right.
And I just sit back and watch it go, and have fun with that. But yeah, we try to stay positive and have fun, because life kind of sucks as it is. Why make it suck more?
Yeah, that's my philosophy. I really appreciate it, though. It's very inspiring. So,
Oh, thanks.
to get down to some business, man, how in the world did you get started in the business and your art and things like that?
I started drawing like at 2 or 3 years old. There was an aunt in my family, Aunt Pauline. She lived in East Texas. We would go to her house, and she had these plates on her wall, and they were hand-painted plates. People
like commemorative
plates. On the wall.
plates.
And they were pictures of a hillbilly getting drunk. They were really cool little cartoon paintings. 5 paintings of a hillbilly standing there with one of those big jugs you throw over your shoulder and a big hillbilly hat. Kind of a Yosemite Sam looking guy.
Right.
And the first one, he's standing there, and the second one, he takes a pull off of it, and the third one, he kind of reacts a little bit, and the fourth one, he burps, and the fifth one, he looks kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And I would just stare at those all the time, so she got me some paper and some crayons and stuff, and I would just sit and draw these hillbillies, and I figured out that if I changed the order of the plates, I could change the story. I still have the plates.
That's
amazing.
Somewhere. But that was kind of the start, and I just drew all the time. When I talk to people in school or people that I went to school with, they go, "Oh yeah, you were so cool. You just sat in the back of the class drawing and never did your homework and didn't give a shit."
Because it came natural.
That's it.
That made me cool.
Yeah.
So I've always been drawing. My first real art job was as soon as I turned 16, I got a job doing caricatures at Six Flags over Texas.
That's
Oh, man.
awesome.
And I was working with a bunch of cool people down there, one of who is Vincent Waller, who's the creative director of Spongebob now.
Right.
And we used to travel around the country doing caricatures and portraits at fairs and rodeos and shit.
That is bizarre.
Back in the day. So that was kind of my start, is being a street artist.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
man,
awesome.
That's ground level. We always talk about the kind of punk rock direction that we take towards going to cons and stuff like
For
that.
sure, yeah.
Just street level and going out and talk to everybody. That's how you make just connections. You get cool with people, and you get to be in friendships with
absolutely.
them throughout.
That's a big part of the fun of going to cons. It's work, but it's not work, and
Yeah, at the same time.
I like doing it. It's a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. I mean, I imagine it can be work sometimes. I'm not going to lie. I looked up a couple of interviews on YouTube that you had before, and I have to say, a couple of those, you look like you were in pain talking to these people.
Surviving. Well, we don't want to be rude to anybody straight up, but yeah.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes people, they start asking me questions, and they have no idea what to ask, and they don't really know much about Ren and Stimpy or me or my history, which is okay. That's fine,
Yeah.
And I'm kind of used to it. Michelle and I kind of giggle about it, but a lot of my hardcore fans are like pretty sort of weird and or different, and they have sort of different personalities. Some of them are like heavily autistic or have some kind of brain scrambling going on. I'm not saying autism is a brain scrambling, but they're fans, and they're kind of fun and silly, and so I give them their podium. I let them talk, and they talk forever, and they remember every word to every cartoon, but they're happy, and they're happy to meet me. I'm happy to meet them, and the fans are what it's all about.
Absolutely.
See, and that's what I love about you, that positivity, man. It shines. It's great.
Oh, thanks.
And I got to tell you, from a fan side of this as well, myself, I got to geek out a little bit. I came up reading some G.I. Joe and some Nam and stuff like that myself, so this is also a cool circle as well.
That's funny. That's great that you say that, because a lot of people, they don't know me for my comic book work, which I did before I really got into animation. I was doing comic books.
Oh man, I came up on G.I. Joe. I grew up right in Middle Island on Long Island. A lot of Irish cops and former servicemen and stuff like that. A lot of my friends' dads were all into the stuff they'd actually gone through, and especially with the NAM being actually stories that were mailed in from former GIs and stuff like that, and written and drawn out and put into I believe
it's a great comic, and
yes.
Working with Larry and
absolutely
inking Mike Golden and doing covers and stuff, that was really, really fun, really great experience for me. It was like going to school,
Yeah, working around that group, I couldn't. That's all legend to us. So
yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I first got to Marvel, I was working on Crazy Magazine doing movie parodies, and I was like the fake Mort Drucker for the fake Mad magazine, Crazy, And then they folded the magazine, and so I had nothing to do. I had no job, so I got a job working in the bullpen, doing art corrections on all the books.
Wow.
So I would have to, change a panel or a pose or an expression and try to make it look like whoever drew it. So that was like, learning how to draw the hard way.
Yeah,
like throwing a kid in the lake and expecting him to swim.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, it probably sharpens your skills in your own style and whatnot too. Is that I think that it might be harder to draw something to kind of make it blend with an art style than to come up with something on your own. So that would probably just sharpen your own abilities as well.
For sure.
Oh yeah. And I was lucky because the '80s was a great time to be at Marvel, and it was a real fun atmosphere. A lot of great artists, a lot of really cool editors, and it was it was a lot happening. And I was there at the right time. I was a young fly on the wall, just soaking it in. And a lot of the original bullpen guys were there from back in the day. And they were really fun to hang out with and talk to, and they had lots of great stories. And so it was like getting paid to hang out in the coolest place in the world.
That's absolutely it.
Yeah.
I still think back, and personally, I might be a little bit more of in the long run, of a DC fan of the characters and storytelling stuff like that. I came up with some
What's
Marvel.
the matter with you, man? DC?
I tell you, I got to get my act
I'm
together.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'll smack him for you.
But I came up reading, a lot of like New Mutants was my book when I was a kid, and that was right in that time frame. And then there was, all the, I always was a mutant fan. I don't know what it was about it, and then, it was G.I. Joe. It was always about Spirit and Storm Shadow slugging it out everywhere. And I will never forget the page of the issue where he unmasked the first time and Scarlet's looking at him and she's like, "I'll love you anyway." To this day, how that was like, 30 years ago or so. I still remember that clear as.
I know.
Bought it off a spinner rack at 7-Eleven. I still remember it, pulling it open for the first time and like, oh my God.
Man, you're so old,
You
Scott.
had a 7-Eleven moment. I had one of those the first time I saw a Heavy Metal magazine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I picked it up and I started looking. I saw Mobius's work and I just sat down on the floor. I just read it over and over and over. And the guy finally asked me if I was going to buy it.
Yeah.
And I did. But I know those 7-Eleven moments. I remember when I first saw Neil Adams and Danny O'Neill's Green Lantern, Green Arrow book. So
Oh, my favorite. My favorite run of all time. The Hard Traveling Heroes. I love that stuff.
Heck
yeah. Yeah. Beautiful stuff.
Heck yeah. Well, how did you move into Ren and Stimpy, and how did that come about?
Well, it's kind of a long thing.
Give it to me, man.
I was living in New York City, and I lived in a loft full of artists and full of artists and Marvel Comics people and comic creators and stuff. And there was a guy who lived there for a little while who worked on Thundercats.
Right.
Yes.
And he quit working on it and said, "Hey, there's a job opening, and if you want to go in there and apply for a job designing characters." So I did. And I started working on Thundercats, and it was a small operation. Almost all the work being done overseas in Japan. And there was like me and one other designer, Mike Jermakian, and I designed Thundercats backgrounds and monsters and weird characters stuff. And then I worked on Silverhawks,
Yes.
Tiger Sharks, all for Rankin Bass, Mini Monsters, Street Frogs.
Wow.
There was a couple other ones I don't even remember. But so I was working in animation and digging that, and I kind of got set up with doing comics, and So me and Vince Waller jumped in my 66 T-Bird and
Badass.
drove out west and
Yes.
never looked back, and started working at Deke, the animation studio that brought us Inspector Gadget.
Right.
And I worked on the Real Ghostbusters,
Damn.
the animated series. And that was kind of my beginning as a designer. So I'm there working at Deke, and down at the other end of the big work area was a bunch of guys that had been working on Mighty Mouse,
Right.
Ralph Bakshi's Mighty Mouse, and it was John Kay running the show. And I made friends with Jim Gomez, who is an unsung hero of Ren and Stimpy, a guy who actually co-created the characters and the concept and everything.
Right.
But made friends with him, and he introduced me to John, and I jumped ship on Real Ghostbusters and started working on the New Adventures of Beanie and Cecil
Right.
for John. And it was a gigantic clusterfuck,
Yeah.
as a lot of those productions by these people are. And I did one storyboard or two, I think, and then they closed down the production and fired us all, and everybody stole everything that wasn't nailed down and
Yeah.
just went off and got staggered away and got drunk.
That's awesome.
So that was kind of my introduction to the world of that kind of cartooning, and then I got a job on Tiny Toon Adventures,
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
We'll never forget that
and
show.
I convinced a lot of people to come on there, and like if you look at the crew on Tiny Toon Adventures, there's just a lot of giants in animation who are working on that show, and Bruce Timm and Jim Smith
Oh,
and Chris
wow, yeah.
Riccardi, and just a lot of really great animators and cartoonists and storyboard
insane.
artists. So I worked on that for a little while and got a little frustrated. Meanwhile, John was staying at home because he burned his bridges around, and he was hanging around there drinking
It
beer
happens.
on ice and chain smoking cigarettes. And I talked to him on the phone, and we decided to make a little studio. So we created Spumco, and me and him and Len Naylor and Jim Smith, and we pitched stuff around. And John and a guy named Carl Masek, who was in business with Jerry Beck, who's an animation historian. They had an outfit called Streamline Pictures. And we shared an office space. And they were the people that were distributing Miyazaki before anybody ever heard of him.
Oh, yeah.
And they set up a meeting with Nickelodeon, and the rest is history.
It definitely
Yeah.
is history, that's for sure. That got you a couple Emmy nominations as well for that, correct?
Yeah, two Emmy nominations and a Cable Ace nomination and an Annie Award, Annie nomination. It was really funny. The first time we were nominated, we were at the Emmys, right? And we're sitting at a table. Everybody's wearing rented tuxedos, and we're up, and everybody's like congratulating us already. Everybody's like, "I know you guys are going to win. You're going to kill. You're going to win." Because the hubbub had really started, and the show was really, really popular. And,
Oh, yeah.
and people were noticing it. And they announced the winner was a Claymation Easter by Will Vinton.
Oh, see, I've heard of Ren and Stimpy. I haven't heard of that.
I said nice and loud, out loud, "Oh, great, we got beat by walking mud." Or something like that. Somebody animating dirt.
That's
You
fucking
Oh,
hilarious.
man.
Stupid and asinine like that. And right next to me, the entire table stood up and walked up and got their awards. So all the Will Claymation guys were sitting right next to me, and I said that.
hell.
And they went up there and they apologized to Ren and Stimpy for winning.
Damn.
Man, that's what's up.
Talking about
and
opening
I-
the doors at both doors at the same time when you walk in a room.
That's for real.
Yeah, and I looked up the cartoon that won, and it had the lowest, I think probably the lowest Nielsen rating in history. It was in, the
Man.
negative numbers.
Wow.
So,
I don't know.
we didn't do the show to make awards. That would have been nice, but
Yeah.
the nominations are cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, it's how many, I talk about this with music a lot, and, we're off the show, we're hanging around and stuff like that, is that, my favorite band of all time is Ramones. They will always be my favorite band of all time. But if Ramones had not existed, they got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame so much later, and all this other stuff. Who else wouldn't have existed after them? And that's definitely the case with Ren and Stimpy and stuff like that. We've got we got a good buddy that's getting into selling a lot of art prints and stuff himself, and definitely the whole art style is a huge influence on him.
For sure.
That is definite.
One thing about Ren and Stimpy too, I loved the show when I was a kid, and my parents used to get really fucking pissed when they would catch me watching Ren and Stimpy. They were like, "You're not allowed to watch Ren and Stimpy," but I remember.
And you say, no, Dad, really, I was jacking off.
It's okay, Dad.
It's totally cool.
Ren and Stimpy.
Leave me alone. I'm cleaning my
Playboy.
room. Yeah.
That's all I was doing.
But I first, I love the show because it was great. And but I guess there come a certain point where I didn't watch or see the show for a long time, and then I watched it again as an adult, and then I'm like, oh,
sure, Dad. Yeah.
See, that was it. That was the whole idea.
Yeah.
Was we wanted to make a show that, and first of all, like when people start talking about pigeonholing an audience for a specific show, like we're looking for shows for children 6 to 11 years old.
Yeah.
I can't shut the hell up. I go, what the fuck does that mean? I know 6-year-olds who read on a college level, and I can't even talk. No,
Yeah.
And I know people that are 20 who can't read or write.
Right,
so
absolutely.
trying to talk down to kids is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And any of the shows that do it are boring.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah, that's a problem we have
so
now.
The idea was to create shows that were fun and funny for kids,
Yeah.
but that they could grow up and look at them again and go, just what you did. Oh, that's what that was about. It's a butthole joke.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And I think we succeeded at that.
Oh, totally.
I had trouble looking at the shows though. I was looking at season 1 shows the other night. We sat down and watched a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And boy, are they ugly.
Well, you were figuring things out at that point.
And it's just because we were all kind of new at that, and we were kind of winging it. Oh, and the first season, a lot of the shows were animated at a place called Phil Cartoons in the Philippines.
Right.
And while they were making our show, they were having overthrows of the government.
Oh God!
and there was a volcano erupted, and we got like a box of cells that was full of like volcanic ash. And they didn't do the best work, and it was kind of shaky. There were a lot of shows that were done in Canada by Carbuncle Cartoons, Bob Jakes and Kelly up there. They were great animators, and the shows that really stand out are the ones that they animated.
Right.
And if you ever want to interview them, they're very cool, and they know more about the show than I do because they were paying attention.
Speaking about shows that don't really speak down to children and are on more of a higher intellectual level is Spongebob, and as I understand, maybe you have some connections to Spongebob.
Yeah, just kind of recently, I did character layouts on the new feature that just came out,
Cool.
which I still haven't seen.
Oh, all right.
I worked on it. I was just doing work and sending it in, but I wasn't seeing what everyone else was doing because I'm here in Jersey and everybody else was in Burbank.
Right.
My girlfriend Michelle got a DVD for me online. She bought it on eBay, so I just have to watch it. But that was a really fun experience. I was doing character layouts, which is sort of the step between storyboarding and animation. It's I'm cleaning up the storyboard drawings, hyper clean, making sure all the poses are there that need to be there for the dialogue and for the action and the comedy and stuff. So it's like a super hyper clean storyboard thing, and making sure that the scenes work. And then after that, I storyboarded 2 of the TV show episodes.
That's awesome. So
in fact, the first one, they're kind of publicizing it a lot. That I storyboarded is premiering on the 16th of this month on Nickelodeon, and it's Lost in Bikini Bottom is the name of it, and I storyboarded it.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, when are we going to be able to see that? But you just answered that. Awesome.
That's excellent. That's about
You guys
about 2
don't have
weeks.
to talk. I'll just talk. And
Oh, it's totally cool. Yeah.
Wow, I was going to say that too.
We'll just catch on to you.
We may be soulmates. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's a good loop.
What kind of beer are you guys drinking tonight?
I had some Yingling before I came to the studio, but I ran out. I drank them all.
I got a good 6 or a Newcastle waiting on me. I kind of just dance with the Newcastle all the time. That's
Yeah.
pretty much my.
Yeah, I was watching the Myrtle Beach podcast.
Oh, yeah,
that you
yes.
guys had. And because I was looking at it, I thought, oh, this must be them live, and they're talking about Myrtle Beach. Like, I know this can't be live.
Right, yeah.
But you guys seem to be really having some fun with the beer there. So
Oh,
Yeah,
we
that was
do.
that was a pretty wild episode that night.
Yeah, sometimes I enjoy the beer a little too much, and like my other co-host Bo has to give me a drive home.
Yeah, we have a place that's really cool with us in town that points out different ones for us to try. That one was a particularly high gravity that night. So
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
it was like a steel reserve that didn't taste like crap. So
Yeah.
that was a good thing.
So what are you working on right now, man?
I'm doing some commissions. I do commissions from time to time, and I'm working on those. And I'm in the middle of doing a portrait, a big painting for someone, him and his wife. And I'm working on some other concepts, things, show ideas, things like that. I'm always doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm kind of happily, I'm not, working a heavy deadline right now, which is, yes, in freelance artists, like, what's their least favorite thing, and they say deadline.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
in the freelance world, you're always stressed, either because you don't have work or you have work and you don't have enough time to do it, and you never really make enough money to do anything more than just kind of float your debt. And
Yeah.
so it's not the best fun. I was reading and what blog was I was looking at a blog, and they were talking about how in comics like 60% of comic creators live below the poverty level.
Wow.
Yeah, like that's like $11,000 a year.
That's insane. And football players make like $40 million or something.
Yeah, in like 15 minutes. It's like running back and forth, but the amount of work
but
that it comes to
they're all,
doing, yeah.
they're all like beat up old cripples when they get old.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah, I guess it's a balance. Everything's a balance in the end. But
Yeah.
I think I would rather, relax in my studio at my house and
Yeah.
do some page layouts and whatnot.
Develop
and
some carpal tunnel or whatever.
Yeah, maybe carpal tunnel is one thing other than getting smashed in the head a million times. Winding up like Rocky down the road.
Yeah.
So what does Bob Camp like to do other than draw shit?
The funny thing is that I don't sit around going, boy, do I love to draw.
Right.
That's got to be.
I've been drawing like all my life, and I've been drawing for a living every day since I was 16.
Yeah.
So I'm fucking sick of it.
I got you.
That's right.
I'm happy that I'm not like a bricklayer, or not to hi bricklayers. I love you.
Yeah, you guys are cool too. Yeah.
But I'm happy I'm not doing hard physical labor, and
Right.
that I don't have like some mean boss yelling at me and stuff. And I know most people hate the jobs, and as jobs go, I got a pretty cool one.
Right.
And I kind of get to do a lot of different things. I mean, I've done just about every kind of art job there is, except sculpting.
Right.
I've done a couple of little figures for like an illustration once, but I've never really been a sculptor, and I've never claimed to be an animator.
Maybe it's just that complex because the claymation beat you out that time.
Maybe
So
that's
you're
what it
just
was.
like,
That's it,
fuck
that's it.
fuck
That's
sculpting and mud and all of that shit.
Wow. And
We got
you
free.
missed your calling, because obviously you're like Floyd Jr.
That's it. He pulled it out out of nowhere. That's our man.
Yeah.
So what else you got going on? I mean, you've been going down to the shore. I mean, do you got some cons coming up?
Yeah, we're going to Garden State Comic Con at the end of the month. Not as many cons this year as last year. They come and go, and a lot of times cons, if they have you one year, even though they love you and even though you were a big hit, they don't want to have you the second year because they don't like to have the same lineup 2 years running.
Right.
So they and I really don't understand that. Because it's not like you have the same exact people at your con every time, but it is what it is, that's just the way they are.
Seems like you might be able to pull, more fans if you went to the same con each year.
Base.
To have a base in that particular
Sure.
city.
Especially in the New England area,
man.
too. There's tons of people that come in and out of New England all the time and come and go, so you'd think you'd meet new people every time regardless.
Yeah. I really wish I could get we could get more West Coast cons.
Yeah.
But mostly you do East Coast, because I like to have our expenses paid and all that good stuff, and you get treated like a guest instead of some poor schmuck who's got to pay for all their stuff and
right.
Absolutely.
struggle to pay their expenses.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that artists are schmucks either. I love artists. I'm the schmuck.
Oh no! Well, I think we're all schmucks. To a certain
We've
degree.
got levels of schmuckery all over the place, coming up and down.
Yeah.
You gotta. It must be nice to be able to do a show. How far is that that Garden City show from you, where you live? It's like not that far at all. So.
No, it's not far.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm not sure. It's somewhere kind of nearish.
Yes.
It's here in Jersey. I've only lived here a few months, so I really don't know my way around here. I just know that if you're not careful, you'll go into the ocean.
That's very true. Yeah. And that part of the ocean, I don't know if you want to really dig around in it too much. It's.
The shoreline here is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I really like it here. The people are cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. I've been living in Connecticut for a long time, and and it's pretty flipping boring. And
That's true.
And like the town I was living in, I felt young because everybody seemed so incredibly old. And I went to the local supermarket, and it's like all the parking places are handicapped.
All of them.
Yeah.
Like,
You're the only one without a walker.
That's right. And I really didn't get to know people out there much, and I figured it's got to be someplace more fun than Connecticut, and turns out they're all more fun than Connecticut.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I think the most I ever got out of Connecticut was watching the Whalers games with the antennas in my old house with the tin foil up on the ears of the TV, watching Whalers games.
That's a sweet connection.
The 80s and 90s there.
Wow.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, tinfoil engineering.
That's
I've
absolutely.
been there.
I kind of miss it. I wish it would, still be viable to do that. But I also do like being able to just pull something up on my computer whenever I damn well please and just watch it clearly.
So, what kind of music you into, man?
I think computers will be the ruin of us all.
Oh yeah.
It could be. It could wind up pulling a Skynet type deal, or a little too lazy half of the time.
I think that and Facebook are going to be our downfall.
Yeah.
I get so depressed reading everybody's posts about, like you said, Skynet, and then you think about it, like Skynet is real.
Yeah, it's already Matt Smith's character's
the
already
thing they're posting now is that on the 25th of this month, a huge meteor is going to hit the Earth, and that's going to be it. And it's for sure. They're saying it's definitely going to happen. I'm like, well, fuck, at least I know I'm out of next month's rent. I don't have to worry about that.
I'm just going to blow it now.
Yeah. I'll call up my landlord and say, hey, screw you. I want my money back.
Yeah, man, come on. I got to buy some Newcastle. And some hot, ready pizzas.
That'd be awesome.
But, computers really, I kind of, and this is just my own stupid opinion, but I think computers eliminate jobs.
Right.
They put people out of work. And you look at all the big things like Facebook and all these startups that make these online millionaires. They have 40 people working for them.
Yep.
They're pulling all this money in, and they're not, getting people really work. The only people making any money are these these Silicon Valley nerds, you know.
Those 5 guys, and yeah, I run into that personally. I work a retail job, and I run into it a lot. Somebody's like, "Hey, how much is this?" And I'm like, "Well, it costs this much. I can get it for like $3 cheaper online." I'm like, "Well, you can get it in your hands right now and have the experience of shopping in a store and talking to a human being, or you can,
Yeah.
you can go home and wait 4 weeks for it to ship to you.
Right.
You can do it either way." And
Yeah.
I think that,
Yeah.
that the technology and the computers are a good it's a good helping hand to something. But
It's weird how it divides us and brings us
At the
together
same
at the
exact
same
time.
time.
so yeah, I think using it as a tool is great, but using it as a complete vehicle and that's all you are is some scary Skynet, Big
Yeah.
Brother, Clockwork Orange. I
Yeah.
can reference all night long.
I think there's a lot of it's helped make it possible for people with no money and or resources to make content, to make comics, to make animation,
Right.
and put it out there. But on the other hand, it's made it impossible for anyone to make a living.
True.
Anything you create or make, somebody's going to steal, or everybody's going to steal, and that's why you guys know musicians can't make money anymore.
Right. That's why I had to start this show. I was a starving musician.
Yeah. Thank you, Napster.
See?
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is just hope to sell something live at a show
Yeah.
or have somebody come out and listen to you, and that it's the same type of thing in the comic world, the animation world, I'm sure, as well, is to get a good enough fan
Yeah.
that'll buy a solid product, because nothing
Yeah.
beats that to me to this day. It's having something
Yeah,
solid
the
as well.
days of the old school rock stars are
Oh, yeah.
No.
It's a thing of legend these days. You talk about
Yeah,
Freddie
yeah,
Mercury
yeah.
for hours, too.
Well, so what do you guys watch? I'm asking you questions now. So
Yeah,
you better,
do it.
better pay attention.
Yes.
What kind of cartoons are you guys digging these days?
Shoot, Scott. Well, I'll go first.
You go first, man.
I still watch South Park like crazy. I love South Park. I've loved that shit since I was little. And
Oh, wow, that makes me feel really old.
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel a little bit. I'm a
When you
little
were
older
little.
than Matt as
Yeah,
well.
you
So.
watched South Park when you were little. Okay. I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Kid.
yeah.
Like,
And then let's see. Not big on Family Guy anymore. That's just
Yeah.
old to me. But
I've been telling the same joke for the last 10
yeah,
years.
I'm trying. I haven't watched a lot of cartoons lately. I always watch South Park like almost every night. But I
Yeah.
watch I still catch The Simpsons.
I really
Yeah.
watch cartoons.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mostly what I watch is like Law and Order and Seinfeld and of course like Breaking Bad and Dexter. I finished all that and shit like that. But what are you into?
You know what? Honestly, I never turn the TV on. I'm not really sure how to work it.
That's all right. Yeah.
We have these plastic boxes with a lot of buttons on it.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
a bunch of
tricky,
them
man.
laying
They're
around.
tricky.
And I know that somehow by pushing the buttons in a certain sequence, you can make all the different machines light up and play something. But
Yep.
I'll be fucked if I know how to do it. I figure, oh well, I'll go draw. I got work to do, or there's I got to do a chore or something. So I really don't watch cartoons. I went over to a friend's house last year. He said, "Oh, there's this new cartoon." Or maybe it was the year before. There's this new cartoon. You got to watch it. And he was like all excited for me to watch it and kind of get my take on it. And it was Adventure Time.
Oh, Adventure Time's awesome.
And he showed me 3 episodes in a row.
Right.
And he was going to put on another one, and I said, Dan, if you put on another cartoon, I'm either going to kill you or myself. And so that was the last one I watched. I couldn't get into it.
I had no idea what the hell was going on the whole time I was watching it.
The first time I saw it, I was tripping acid, and it was amazing. So like,
Oh, I know. That's like watching. What the hell was it? It's a really early Colonel Bleep. You ever seen Colonel Bleep? Look it up. Write it down. Colonel Bleep. B-O-E-E-P. It was made in the 50s, and the drawing's really cool and it's really stylized.
right.
And it's very trippy, but there's like 12 frames per second of animation in a TV cartoon, 24
Oh,
frames
Lord.
per second in a
Wow.
feature film. But it was like 2 drawings per second, or 1 per every 5 seconds. So it's super
Damn.
limited and really corny.
Yeah.
But that was our tripping cartoon to watch.
That's it.
I'll definitely
Just
check it
because
out.
That and Felix the cat because it's a trip,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Felix still.
for sure. Dude, I tell you what, I watched Predator when I was tripping acid too. that'll change your fucking life. I'll tell you what, man. I've never laughed harder in my entire. Dude, it was like a comedy. I don't understand. I really don't understand how Predator.
How many governors came from Predator now? How many do we have? Like 3?
Okay, let's talk about Predator for a second, okay?
Yeah.
You know, you got a time limit on this podcast, by the way?
No, we're good.
No.
We're good.
Okay.
I'm off tomorrow.
So I went with a friend of mine who worked at Tower Records, and he said, "Oh, they're going to show this new Schwarzenegger movie." And I went into this movie theater in New York, and no, it was in L.A. It was in L.A.
Right.
And no, I guess it would have had to be New York. It was New York. I'm in New York. I'm at this theater, and everybody in the theater works at Tower Records.
Oh,
So
man.
it was a bunch of funny assholes. So
Yeah.
people were kind of cutting up through the whole movie, and it was really corny, I thought. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was corny, but
Yeah.
what's the black guy in it? His name? He's the film director.
That was Carl Weathers. What was it? Was it Carl Weathers?
No, not Carl.
Danny
he's
Glover?
The bald-headed guy. He's like these scenes where he's really sweaty and he's shaving with a big shaver and it breaks on his face. What's that guy?
I don't know.
Was that Danny Glover?
I
He was
don't
in
know.
the second one, wasn't he?
No. But anyhow,
Yeah.
in the movie, he's best pals with the big dude who ended up being the governor of Minnesota. What's his name?
That was crap. The wrestler.
I don't know.
Yeah, the wrestler.
Yeah.
So he's in the movie too, and he's like walking around with an Aussie hat on and holding a minigun, which is like a huge machine gun that's strapped to the bottom of helicopters, and so that's his weapon of choice. And he gets killed by the Predator, and so the black dude who's the director who shaves with broken big shavers,
Yeah.
he stands up and he starts talking about that this was his friend and his friend had died and what it meant to him and everything. And I stood up in the middle of the theater, and I happened to have a harmonica in my pocket. And I started playing sad harmonica music, and the audience went berserk. It was fun.
That's awesome as shit.
It's my Predator story. I'm sticking to it.
Yes. Something had to do something in the middle of that film. He's still doing it now. Arnie's still around. He just came out with a new film, apparently, that's blowing up. It's a zombie movie. I forget the name of it. But he's playing the father of a girl who gets bitten that's slowly turning, and the movie's about like the last 3 days they have together. Supposedly it's amazing. I haven't, can't even remember the name of it right now. But
I'll check it out. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Get a free night, maybe Netflix or something. I don't.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cereal?
Do what?
We're gonna get unconventional here.
So what's your favorite cereal?
My favorite cereal?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. All the good ones are really bad for you.
That's true.
True, yeah.
No.
Well, like the doctor always said, if it tastes good, spit it out.
Yeah, I was looking at the supermarket today, in fact, and we were looking at the cereals, and I realized that the more sugar there is in a cereal, the more and brighter colors there are on the box. And it was like one of those like epiphanies, I thought, oh my God, it's true. Like, the really good for you cereals are all like the colors of wheat, and they're, which is turns out not so good for you. But and like Fruit Loops, they're completely saturated primary colors.
Oh yes.
The cereal is completely saturated primary colors. The box, more sugar than sugar itself. But
somehow.
What I do, because here's the thing is, it's funny you asked me the cereal thing because that's kind of all I've eaten my whole life. I grew up eating cereal.
Yeah, me too.
And that was the big joke in my family. I remember you were so funny. You just sat there drawing and eating cereal all the time. And I want to say, what? Shut up, fuck you.
Yeah.
But you don't talk that way to your aunt, or your
yeah.
mother or whatever. But I try to buy cereals that have a lot of protein in them because you look at them. I'm vegetarian. I was vegan, but I started eating eggs recently.
Gotcha.
But because fuck chickens. No.
Velociraptors anyway.
So I try to get healthy cereals, that like whole grain and have a lot of protein in them and that don't taste like shit.
Right.
But
yeah.
they kind of do, and I mix them up. It's like I'm sure the same way with music. I can't listen to the same kind of music much in a row. I like to mix it up, you know.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I gotta change it up.
I try to eat good cereal. I don't use milk because I can't drink milk because it makes me fart something terrible.
Lactose.
But I drink coconut milk, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, and it's good on cereal and it's good for you and all that.
Heck yeah, I like almond milk too. I don't know if you've tried that.
Almond milk's good. Yeah, I like that too. And I used to drink rice milk sometimes. But,
yeah. Well, where can people find your stuff, man? How can you make some money?
That's what we want to say.
Well, they can go to. I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you go to Bob Lab Studios on Facebook, that's a good place to find me and to see what's going on. Bob Lab, BOBLAB, that's our company.
Heck yeah.
And if you want a commission, I do commissions. You know, I do pencil commissions, pen commissions, full color commissions. And if you go on there, you'll actually see pictures of the ones I've done. You know, I can do that. I'm always looking for design work or storyboard work, animation work, that kind of stuff. Directing, I direct. Hello, director here. And I'm happy to do that, you know, and just kind of whatever. I might be doing some comic book stuff soon, which is I haven't done in many years.
It'd be awesome to see you again.
That might be fun, but, you know, after reading about how much money comic book people make, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it's a labor of love.
You know, when you get $200, I guess when you get $200 for a page of comics,
right?
These days, you're doing good.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know, and I'm thinking, holy shit, that's no money at all.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like you figure it takes you a day to pencil a page, right?
Yeah.
And that's average. A day to pencil a page. You're doing a 20-page book, you know, and it takes you a month to do it. It's not a lot of money. You know?
Right.
You're not putting kids through college for that.
That's for sure. Yeah, we had one of our buddies, Greg Bell Watson, on last episode, and he does a lot of stuff with Xenoscope, and he was talking about his pacing and how he's a little bit of a workhorse when it comes to that stuff. He's rapid fire, so he just
slammed all the time.
Yeah,
and deadlines, like you were talking about.
Yeah,
deadlines
are ridiculous that he's got to deal with to just put this stuff out.
Yeah, if you're fast, you can you know, do okay. I'm not particularly fast. I'm picky and persnickety about shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Just perfect. You know? And which means your work looks nice, but it doesn't mean you're the hot rod of all cartoonists. But some guys can do it. You know, they can just churn out the work. When I was inking John Buscema, you know, I used to ink Conan.
Yes.
And which was again like going to art school.
Just being around him.
His monthly quota. His monthly quota was 78 pages.
Good God.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And that's Conan stuff. That's not simple anyway.
And that doesn't include pinups or covers, which he usually inked himself.
God, it's insanity.
Yeah, he was a monster.
Yeah.
70, I couldn't be any, because, you know, on a good day, they're churning out, you know, what, the 34-page books and some of the indie producers and stuff like that put out the thicker books.
In like a month, yeah.
In like a month long, they're putting out essentially, like you said, like a page a day or so.
Yeah. What do you guys think of that bento box comics thing I saw?
I have been trying really hard to see. I have this problem with. Well, it's not a problem with spending money. Is where I talk myself out of everything.
Yeah.
But you know, I've worked at a comic shop. You know. Basically off and on for about 15 years, and I've come across so many graphic novel collection or trade paperbacks and graphic novels and whatnot, and picked them up here and there that I don't want to. I'm scared I might get something I already have, but
yeah.
It's an amazing concept. It's essentially like Loot Crate or the horror boxes. They have a theme every month, which makes it even cooler for me there too.
Right.
Is that they
you pay like $17 and when you get like 20 comics or something?
They said it's like $60 worth, I guess SRP of $60 worth, and you pay $17 in shipping.
That's awesome.
So I mean, yeah, and you could you can get exposed to something that you might wind up loving down the road, completely different.
Yeah,
they did a movie.
I like the gamble of it. It's
yeah,
cool.
the gambling of it's too. The last time I was looking at it was like a movie one, and I turn into a whiny little bitch when I talk about comic movies because I love comics too much. So I was like, I'll skip that one. So I got to check it this month to see if there's something else that.
Yeah, I think, I see a lot of people trying to reinvent the wheel because nobody knows what the wheel is anymore.
That's true.
Same in every business. And thank you, computers, again.
Once again.
In animation, it's really hard to make a living or make any real money or get anything on the air. And I know that the big animation houses like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network are struggling. I think Disney XD's doing okay, but I don't think advertising works anymore. People are trying to figure out how to make money or to sell a show and do it yourself or use crowdfunding, and so everybody's trying to figure it out. Same in comics, same in music, and and you have to kind of do everything yourself, and you got to be smarter than everybody else and be like a good businessman. And, I wish I'd taken some business courses when I was younger. I never did.
Mm-hmm. I was going to take business, and I never did. So we have something in common.
Even if I had taken business courses, I would have sat in the back and threw the whole time and not paid attention. So.
Yeah, it would have been the same. That was high school for me as well. And
I would have just been stoned and not remembered a damn thing. So. But man, Bob, it was freaking awesome having you on the show.
Absolutely.
I look forward to having you on the show again. You're a blast, man, and I look forward to seeing you at conventions too in the future. And
yeah. Oh, and I didn't tell you guys. I teach at the School of Visual Arts in New York City. I teach storyboarding.
Oh no!
Yes.
Did you say that?
I was digging around a little while ago online to see what you were doing now, and I saw.
Oh, so Scott was creeping on you.
I was
see,
creeping on you too. I mean, I didn't get to creep on you at Myrtle Beach because I had to work. But
yeah, well, tell me a little bit about that before we get
man.
out of here.
Yeah, so thanks for calling, and it's great talking to you guys.
Absolute fun too.
You've really been doing this for 14 years.
What was that?
You said I saw 14 seasons. What does that mean, 14 seasons?
We've a season sometimes 10. We might do about 2 of them a year or so. So it's been about
6
5
years.
or 6 years. Yeah.
5 or 6 years.
We've been at it for a little bit. I mean, and the life of podcasting, that's not Dallas level, but
it feels like 30 years.
Yeah, it feels. Yeah, sometimes it feels like it was 10 minutes ago, and then other times it feels like 30 years. But
but it keeps getting better and better every year, man. It's been quite the journey too, and I mean we just now moved into a new studio downtown where we live, and we got some sponsors that we're talking to and things like that. So things are going well. We're really happy.
Well, cool. That's great. And I wish you guys all the best luck in the world. And, keep the word, keep the faith.
Yeah,
we're going to keep going.
Likewise, my friend. Have a fantastic night, dude.
Okay, you too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dude, he was awesome.
It was that was excellent fun, too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times when you have interviews, you're struggling to talk, and there was no problem with that with Bob.
Yeah, man. He's he had really cool stories, too. I always like when we get an interview and we're not just sitting over here rolling our eyes like, God, I just wish they'd shut the fuck up.
That doesn't happen. I mean, if you're listening and you did an interview with us, we totally didn't do that.
Yeah, that's never happened.
It never has happened. But I mean, in some alternate reality somewhere, it could have, but not here. But
well,
definitely, guys, go check out Bob's stuff online. I mean, chances are you've probably already seen it in everyday life.
Yeah.
So you're just going to be remembering it and go back and watch Ren and Stimpy again and be amazed like we were and some Silverhawks too, dude. I used to have those damn action figures when I was a kid, and they had the thing like Banshee where they had the little like half cape under their arms.
Yeah.
And you'd press a button on their back, and it'd go up like a switchwid. And it always, because it was like this weird tinfoil, and it was like mid-'80s, so it was made like it was the mid-'80s. And it would always rip. And then we'd have one single, like, Silverhawk that could only fly in circles because one side was ripped.
Oh, you're such a nerd.
Jeez. It was a hard time.
It's cute, though. It's cute.
A lot of people, they look at the 80s and they put it on an altar, but, I got to be real.
Hey, I like the 80s. Mostly because I was born in the 80s.
That's that's probably the best thing I got out of the 80s was you being born, man.
Oh, thank you. You're sweet.
I like it.
Moving along, though, we're going to do some earbuds. We haven't done that on the show.
We haven't done earbuds in, God, it feels like a month or so.
Yeah, so let's give them little taste of the music we've been going. I'm gonna let you go first, Scott. Introduce your band there.
This is funny is that one of my buddies, Halen, I've talked about a bunch of times on the show. He's got a podcast too that I would send you some links, but he hasn't sent me any in a while. But yeah. He started telling me about this band I think it was like 2012 or so. They had popped up, and it's a funny thing because there's a little bit of a gimmick to the band. Their name is Masked Intruder, and they just play straight up like 50s rock pop punk.
That's cool.
But there's rumors, and it's pretty much true that they are either another punk band or guys from like 3 or 4 different punk bands. Because they wear masks, nobody knows who they are.
So they could be like a super group or something.
They could be an absolute super group, or they could be just a bunch of guys from a town that wanted to tell everybody they were a super group.
Hey, I dig it.
I would probably think that's cooler.
Yeah.
But they sing all these songs, and they sing these love songs, but they're always from the angle of, if you ever need me, just look out your back window and I'll be standing in your yard.
All right.
Or songs about like breaking into girls' houses and then
very intruder.
Getting ready to steal their TVs and stuff, but then seeing the girl come in and falling in love with her, and it's just really, it's funny because there's a lot of sappy 50s rock style singing and storytelling in it, with this ridiculous angle of being a bunch of criminals that break in.
I dig it.
It's,
well, let's give it a listen real quick here.
Yes.
This is Masked Intruder. This song's called "Wish You Were Mine."
that background vocal. There's all kinds of rumors that they're this band and that band, and I've listened to a couple of the other bands that they're, the message board rumors and stuff to see if I can pick out, well, that bass playing sounds like blah blah, because that background climb, that background vocals is the bass player. And I've listened to there's a rumor that they're the band Gusto with a different guy, and the guitar player from Gusto is the singer in this one.
Right.
And I'm like comparing tattoos and stuff, and I thought it was fun, a different angle for music, because you never really, study bands that hard to figure out what's going on.
I like it. Let's listen to it just a couple more seconds, and then.
That's
Perfect. The end. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I like it, dude. That's good stuff.
I've been having fun listening to them. They only got 2 albums out right now. Fat Records just picked them up, which is Fat Mike from NoFX.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, they've kind of been touring hard and stuff like that. But you can catch a couple videos on their on YouTube, and just watch the crowds, because they're lame as hell. They just kind of stand there and just bob a little bit.
They don't get into it at all.
And not at all. Which I guess there's not much of a market for pop punk 50s rock that is about breaking into people's houses and falling in love.
I guess not.
I don't know, but on the other end of I know this has got to be a different end of a spectrum with your pick, though.
Yeah, man. I bring a lot of old school music to the table a lot of time with earbuds, and it's nothing different this week.
That's good.
My earbud is Steve Miller Band.
Yes.
And I've always loved Steve Miller Band. I mean, I think they were way ahead of their time. Coming out with, their greatest hits from like 70 to 74 is like
4 years.
Yeah, it's more badass than most people's like
maybe
40-year career.
You push out, like most bands would push out like 2 albums in that time, and they've got enough for a greatest hits.
Oh yeah, it's
I
ridiculous.
also always felt like they were very much they weren't as praised as they should have been.
Oh yeah, highly underrated. But Steve Miller Band's mine. The particular song I chose was "Take the Money and Run." That's always been a really cool song. And the most reason that I chose this is my dad had a stroke last week and it was pretty bad. And he ended up having to go into the hospital, and they found that his carotid artery was like 97% clogged.
Just terrifying.
So he was like, lucky to be alive, but they did surgery on him. They got it all out of there. And the whole time Dad was in surgery, he's doing great, by the way, now. So, and I appreciate everybody and all the prayers and the good thoughts and good vibes and everything that everybody sent my way. Thank you for that, by the way. But the whole time Dad was in surgery, I was just pounding, the stuff I grew up on, what my dad introduced me to. I was listening to, Steve Miller Band, like Booker T and the MGs.
Oh,
and,
man.
The Ventures, like, really old 50s, 60s stuff, 70s stuff.
That's a connection we got there. My dad always played the Ventures records for me all the time.
Oh, I love that
Still
stuff,
got all
man.
the same ones, over the years.
Walk, Don't Run,
Yes, all the surf rock instrumental stuff, man.
Stuff. But without further ado, here's Steve Miller, "Take the Money and Run."
Go on, take the money and run. Go on, take
take the money and run. Oh, yeah. Go on,
Always
take the
a little
money and
early.
run. I love it, man. I'll always love it. It's good shit.
Absolutely, and that's talk about a staple in not even just classic rock, but music history right there.
Yeah.
Is that that's been probably covered by like 80 bands.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Run DMC did a cover of it.
No way.
Not maybe about 10 or so years ago. Run DMC did. Well, they used the chorus in the loop,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sampled it and stuff.
rapping about sticking up jewelry stores,
All
and,
the whatnots.
and running around. And, yeah, that's
Well, man, what a kick-ass show. Bob Camp. Wow.
yeah, man.
You know?
It was excellent to speak to somebody, especially for him to be as accessible and as cool as he was with all of it.
Oh, yeah.
Know that I wasn't as completely paranoid about Skynet as I thought I was. I mean, apparently it's founded.
Yeah.
And it's, The man made comics I loved, made some TV shows I loved, and he
Yep.
agrees with me on Skynet climbing into our brains while we sleep and taking us over.
Well, man, I guess that's all we got. Scott, where can people find the show
Oh, man,
and
people-
other great shows?
Good Lord. People can find our show and other great shows such as Vinyl After Hours, which if you haven't listened to that, I don't want to call you straight up lame, but essentially, yeah. And you can find Talk the Walks on there. NCP is on there. The Nerd Culture Podcast out of Down Under
lot
over
of
there in
good stuff.
Australia. We've got a couple different songs on there. We're blowing up, guys. We're spreading out. But yeah, you can check all that stuff on there.
We are spreading eagle.
Yeah, all caw-caw.
Also, you can get us on Facebook. You can get us on Instagram.
I've
You
got it
all
written
that
down.
shit?
You want me to blow it up, man?
Yeah, blow it
You
up.
can go to our website at ecnradio.com. You can find us at undercastnetwork.com, obviously, if you might already be there. Who knows? At Facebook, we're facebook.com/ecnerds. At Twitter, we're at ecn_podcast. And on Instagram, if you want to look at a couple of the nerdy comics, or maybe I could find a broke-ass Silverhawk, we're at ECN Podcast. So you can find us on there, too.
Heck yeah.
We're all over the place. You got no excuses.
Damn right. All right. Good night from ECN Radio. And I'm going to take Bo's little out slogan. Peace, bitches.